dogs view us as their protectors, because if we're their protectors, they can calm down. And the role that they play, just like the role that we play, if you look at a job description, it comes with all these different responsibilities. So a lot of times, why is my dog reactive on leash, etc.? And I don't actually know if Kai's, I don't mean to single Kai out, I was just actually filming because I wanted to show her reaction to the motorcycles, and they both like it on this seat so much that I let them both sit there basically. Sometimes it gets a little bit burdensome, but I just drive carefully. And, I think they both like it. I think they both like the company too, but it was just making me think, watching Kai, that, even though she's slightly intimidated by the motorcycle, at least curious about them. It's helpful, I think, when you have somebody around you that she views as being able to protect her. And like I was just starting to say about the responsibilities that come with a certain role. Sometimes people will say, I need training for my dog. I would like my dog to be trained. And there are things, especially with certain dogs, that you could just kind of robotically train them to do, especially with repetition, especially dogs that are high in neuroticism and anxiety, that they have that as a base because they're looking for something to do in their environment to be able to create safety and help reduce that anxiety. I mean, if you gave somebody who has anxiety, you could give them, they could be folding clothes, would help them reduce their anxiety, cleaning the floor, doing laundry, doing this. That all helps them reduce the anxiety. They're taking action on their environment. That's the base of these working dogs, is that anxious base. Like if I don't do something, if I'm not doing something, something's wrong. That motivation comes from a fire behind, behind the butt in the form of anxiety. And this is my opinion, at least this is what I see. But someone might say, that's why I don't like to do dog training, because it's a lot of times it's like my dog has this problem, but it's not actually a problem. It's just the responsibilities that come with the role that they're playing. And if you switch the role, the behaviors like being protective, depending on the dogs, it could definitely be complex, especially if dogs have had experiences on the street where they had to protect themselves or something and they become reactive because of it. So I don't mean to downplay it as though it's this black and white, but the first thing is switching the role. And this is actually helping me clarify my thinking, but people want training, and I'm not mentioning any clients at all even. I'm just thinking about in general the reason I don't like to do training, because someone might call you and say, I need my dog to be trained to not do this. But you don't want to they're switching the role so that you become the protector and the leader and the one responsible for providing, protecting. It's a responsibility, which is why we don't like to take it on. Usually it's like when you come home, it's the time when you let your guard down and you don't have to do that. But the reality is, nature is in everything, and I really don't know of a place. We always try to kind of find a place to get away from nature and the harshness of life, and I really don't know if there's that place. Maybe in thinking about it from a higher spiritual level, you could find some peace in all of it. For me, at least. But it's like you're going to be that at home. I'm sorry, you're going to be that at work. You're going to be that, for your kids, for your wife, for your husband, or your animals. Everyone needs leadership and everyone needs strength, and regardless of gender or physical stature or anything like that. So And then with that base of you switch the role, then once, every dog is different, the reason why they're doing it, but that switching the role is like the low-hanging fruit. Like that'll handle maybe 50% or more of the problem, depending on the dog. That's why I could have all these dogs back here just chilling, because I take on that responsibility. And it's different when it's not everyone's in a position I'm in with where I have a van full of dogs and the knowledge and everything. But I guess I'm speaking about the knowledge, so I guess I'm trying to share it. And when I first started learning about I can't pet my dog, or I can't cuddle with my dog, why would I have a dog? I remember thinking that and it just hurt my heart almost. I was like, I don't understand. And it's not that you can't pet your dog or you can't love your dog, but I've learned that if you're petting them or hugging them for yourself, there's a price to pay, and the price is their respect for you goes down. And I don't mean to have it be like this. I want everything to just be great and amazing all the time, and these are just the realities of the harshness of life. A lot of times we'll complain about the harshness of life and kind of blame someone or some group for it, or saying somebody made it this way, but this is just the way that it is. We were born into a harsh world. I don't know if anyone's watched National Geographic and what happens to the animals out there. No one comes out and euthanizes the animals when they get sick, or they're going downhill, and every single animal goes downhill out there. You can watch the videos of what happens eventually, and no one made it that way. That's just the way so we kind of just have to deal with things the way they are and try to make the best of them. But we kind of get a dog and we're like, well, this is a dog and it's domesticated, so now it's basically my teddy bear. And I totally know that a lot of people don't think this, but I'm just pointing out that it's in us, and it was in me. I wanted to pet my dog. I wanted my dog for me, so that it could be my dog and I could do. But we have to learn what's normal to them also, because if we are they speak in their own language, and you can going back to petting and loving your dog, you can totally love your dog. You could absolutely, and you should love your dog. I'm not saying it's not my right to say what you should or shouldn't do. I'm just saying what I'm thinking. I love my dog. It's just the way that it's a deeper love. The way that we show love is I'm gonna pet them and let them know I love them. But it's what if you just did everything for them to have a good life, and you spent time with them, and they're almost telepathic. I feel personally, after being with them for so long. What if you thought to them, what if your thoughts were in alignment with your actions, and you felt I love you, and you showed it, because that's how they show each other. They don't come up and give each other back rubs and they just hang out with each other. And it's if one of them who liked another one, if there was two dogs who have a good relationship, and one was hey, I just want to let you know I love you. He's it's not and so I'm gonna pet you on the head to let you know that. They're I already knew that. And they do have physical touch, and that's nice sometimes also, but it's just not as much as we do. And I guess I'm just trying to shed some light on how I see the way they think, and what can lead to problems, because we start to kind of want to change the laws of nature, and we want to change the way that dogs are, and we could force them into a behavior by just repetitively drilling something, but it really doesn't change the nature of nature itself and the nature of a dog, which is a lot of things. But yeah, I guess I'm just kind of ranting about that. But if we think about showing respect for them, while they're sleeping is a form of love, you know. Like, we do things to dogs that we wouldn't do to people. You know, if you were sleeping and somebody came up and started hugging you and kissing you on your head, that you wouldn't be like, oh wow, they love me. You'd be like, hey, what are you doing? I'm sleeping. Like, in the future, please don't do that, you know. I mean, that's what I would probably do. I think a lot of people would do that, but you kind of understand what I'm saying, like, probably. But so that's kind of why I don't like to do training, because it just requires so much education. I don't know if you really get paid for that education. Maybe I'll put out videos, educational videos of what I would think is important for clients to know. And if they say, hey, I've read through all that, or I watched that and it looks good, I'm with that. Now let's start. Maybe that would be a good way to do it. But I'm just sharing some thoughts on it.